A friend of mine recently stated a comment in our men's group, and it was kind of a warning to all the fellas. And he said, don't have an all-star career and a pickup game marriage.
Mm.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Whether you've been married 1 or 20 plus years, at some point, you realized you were married into crazy.
And that's what our podcast is all about. We offer love, laughter, and a dose of reality as we unpack this crazy thing called marriage.
So sit back, relax, and get your ear hustle on. It's time to start the conversation.
All right, let's go.
Yo, what's up? It's your boy ET. Look, if you're looking to or you got to raise the bar on your marriage, you gotta click the link and get into Married into Crazy, y'all. I'm telling you, this coaching is gonna take your relationship to another level. Now look, you already know you need to raise the bar. You know that already. So stop thinking or overthinking. Click that link, and Marriage into Crazy is gonna take you and your spouse to marital bliss. Now you know. Click the button. Let's go.
Welcome to another episode of Married into Crazy with Snooks and Lovey. I'm Lovey.
I'm Snooks.
And here we are on Halloween Eve. And we're recording, and we're going to talk about one of the scariest things.
Halloween, not Halloween Eve.
Is it Halloween Eve?
Yeah, today's Halloween.
Today is Halloween. And we're going to talk about the spookiest thing you can think of.
So first, I just want to say this before we get started. Lovey and I. So Lovey and I have been we've been out for 2 weeks because we did the interviews last week.
The last 2 weeks,
So
right?
yeah,
Right.
so thank you for coming back and seeing us. Lovey's just trying to jump right in. We're not gonna have a little conversation, talk a little bit about what's been going on with us, ask questions about what's been going on with them. Nothing.
Okay, you know what?
Anyway,
My bad. It's like sex. I like to just get in there and just playing. Just playing. She wants some foreplay. She wants some foreplay.
I would start getting emails. We so sorry. Poor Snooks.
Okay, so look.
So here, okay, go ahead.
You go.
You go.
Ladies first.
Okay. So
just like sex.
Hey, high five. Anyway, so the last couple of weeks we've been on a meal plan. We actually started working out.
A health plan.
Sorry. A life-changing whatever. So we started working out and we started eating more healthier, I should say. So, and everything's been going well, I feel like we've been doing a great job and not having any issues until today. So to me, today for me is a little bit of a struggle because it's Halloween and some of my favorite candy is sitting on the counter so that we could pass it out to the kids and everything.
I already ate a piece.
So did you?
I cheated.
See, I was like going to say how, this is really going to test our resolve to see how we can get through this and we can be strong and everything. But there's one Snicker that's like sitting on the top of the pile and it's so neat and nice. And I just really want to eat it, but I'm holding off. I'm going to stick to it, whatever. So I could tell our trainer.
So we started a health plan. Part of the health plan is mental health. And I got to the point where I recognized that I was getting angry because I could not eat the relative of that Snickers that she was looking at.
So you ate the Snickers.
So I ate the Snickers. And I was thinking, you know what? My mental health is worse than
it's more important than
it's been 2 weeks.
Physical.
2 weeks
of
eating rabbit food. And a little bit of protein.
I was about to say we've had some protein or whatever, but
it's been a great plan.
It actually has been a really good plan. I'll say I was a little bit leery when I saw the shake because we had to do a shake. So we've done shakes before. No, I'm not. we've done shakes before, but with our shakes, we've had protein powder. We ain't had no protein powder. So I was like, there was a mistake. We forgot an ingredient. And Lovey's like, no, everything's right there, blah, blah, blah. I was like, where's the protein powder? So he's like, it's a cleanse. You're not supposed to have the protein powder or whatever. I said, can you ask him though? I want to know the answer. So he shot the trainer the question. He responded in kind to what Lovey said. So when I did my shake, I was like, I'm not drinking that because it looks disgusting. It looks very nasty. I'm not gonna drink it. Surprisingly, though, it was good. I'm gonna tell you why. Because the mint that we put in it, the mint saved it. So shout out to the mint because
The mint. But look, let me just say this. Look, the program's been great. We've been working out every day for actually 7 days a week, but realistically 6.
realistically 5. Nah, I'm playing
No, and the eating has been on point. Have not cheated at all
until today.
when I had the Snickers. But then I also thought, you know what? What's the point of we're living these lives and we're trying to look better, but I don't want to get to the point where I'm miserable and feel like, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. That's where things fail. Same thing with our relationships. When we get into our marriages, we think, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. And yes, you gotta be all those wonderful traits and qualities, but you also have to make sure that you're not being so rigid to where you start to resent what it is you're actually doing.
That's true.
And so there was some resentment going on because I had to get we have these 3 buckets full of candy and I had to put them all together while they were getting Isaiah dressed. And I was like, I'm eating this right here.
Some BS.
Right. I don't think I was at PG-13, but for real though. And so, but the nice thing is I'm good. I had the little piece of candy. I'm straight.
And I think that's very valid though. Like you said, I mean, it's not nothing new, but people say that everything is okay within moderation. It's just the times when you don't know how to stick within that moderation,
Right. And same thing. I haven't had a drink, though I've been wanting one every now and then, every blue moon.
I've been wanting one because this family right here.
All right. But see, he didn't even say you can't drink alcohol. We're just choosing not to drink alcohol. It's not on the list. So I'm not doing this on the weekends. I'm not going to have my little whiskey shot or whatever. I'm not doing that. Though I wanted to yesterday. Isaiah's putting us through it, but I didn't. So I figured Snickers is a good, olive branch that I extended to myself.
To yourself. Oh, okay. I'm mad at you. So I won't feel bad if I eat one.
Yeah. So that's what's been going on here. It's been interesting to say the least, but we're healthier. I feel better.
I do too.
There's a lot of things going on. So that's it. I mean, we're not waiting for the new year to make the resolution, but I will say this, that we are looking to do this as a lifestyle, not as if you remember last year, actually 2 years ago. Yeah. 2 years ago, we did the 75 hard and we talked about that quite a bit. It was in 2020.
Was it 2020?
It was 2020.
Oh.
And we did it all the way up until October. And then we went to Vegas.
Oh, yeah, we went to Vegas. Mm-hmm.
And then it's just been downhill since then.
I don't think that.
But it's one of those things where, we say we're going to do something and we go for it. And then once the event is done, then all of a sudden we toggle back to the old way of things, the MO, right? And we want to make sure that your relationship isn't the same way.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want you to be like, oh, caught up in the newlywedness of your marriage.
The event is done. We got married. Now we finna just act a fool.
Right. Yeah. We've been together for years. It's been great. Now I'm going to go back to my old ways. Philandering or whatever. And this is what brings us to the
philandering.
The spooky tales of marriage.
Okay. Can you not?
No. Wait, before we go there, look, if you're enjoying the podcast and you've enjoyed any of our podcasts, you've gotten anything out of them, there have been some teachings. There have been some aha moments. There have been some great discussions and conversations with couples from all over the United States.
There have been some laughs.
Right? There have been some tears. There's been quite a bit, where people have gotten really emotional. I think about Chris and Nitra. When we're talking, there's some tear-jerking moments. And there are some moments where you're just like, wow, that was exhilarating. Mm-hmm. If you've found joy in any of that, we're going to ask that you do us a huge favor. Go over to Spotify or Apple Podcasts and leave a review and a rating.
Where's this hand coming up? What
That's
is
the
that?
compensation we're asking for. If you think like, oh, I get value out of this, I look forward to it. That's all we ask. Go there, take a little bit of time out of your day and just put a review, put a rating, make it favorable. And then that way it rises in the ranking. So that way more people can discover the conversation.
Mhm.
That's the ask. That's all we ask in return. And then also, let us coach you and then buy our merchandise. And no, just kidding. So, but that truly is it. That truly is it.
Mhm.
So if you would, please go ahead and take care of that. And if you want to get more and participate in another community, a marriage community that's a free community out there on Facebook, go to the Iron Tribe.
The Iron Tribe Marriage Community on Facebook.
Yep. And so there's videos, there's conversations, there's comments, there's all kinds of things that take place there. But it's additional things that another resource, if you will, that you can utilize for your relationship.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But now we speak about the spooky. What?
I'm sorry, y'all.
No, okay, so it's Halloween. And as a married couple, what is the scariest thing you could think of? Well, there's a few things that just came to mind, but
as a married couple, the scariest thing I could think of?
Mhm.
A married couple with children, with our kids never leave home. I don't know.
That's scary. That's
No,
scary.
okay, so probably as a married couple, if we're just talking about the unit of marriage, the most I guess scariest thing is how if it doesn't end well. So is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, if it doesn't
Okay.
end well, I mean, think of it this way. And I thought about this because if you look at the news, contemporary news right now, what you have are a high profile individual, Tom Brady, and his wife Giselle,
Who is very well known in the fashion industry, and she was a supermodel. That's what if
Yep.
we're still calling them that. I don't know.
Look, that's why I said Tom Brady has two names. Tom Brady. Giselle has one. When you get that one name,
get that one.
you're in trouble.
That's funny.
There's a few. Beyonce has one name.
Okay.
I say Janet. Who do you think of?
Janet Jackson.
Okay.
Was there another Janet?
Cher's only one word.
Well, what other
Sade.
Janet?
No, I'm just saying. If I say Janet, I
okay.
mean Janet's a common name.
Okay. So when you say Jennifer, who do you think of?
So, that's a good question. Honestly, what's the Jennifer that was married to what's his name?
Mark Anthony.
Oh, that is her name, huh? I was thinking J-Lo. I don't know. I don't
Jennifer
really think
Lopez. That's
Jennifer.
her name.
Yeah, Jennifer Lopez.
Because now Jennifer Hudson is J Hud. So anyway, to distinguish. Okay, anyway.
I'm sorry. Yeah, we're going off on a tangent here. Going on. That's a whole other podcast.
Swear.
No, but okay. So, but you look at that, right? You look at Tom Brady and Giselle and what they're going through. And a friend of mine recently stated a comment in our men's group, and it was kind of a warning to all the fellas. And he said, don't have an all-star career and a pickup game marriage.
Mm.
Shout out to Derek Seymour.
Derek Seymour.
Who is one of the co-moderators of the Thank God I'm Married community that Snooks and I host for Eric Thomas for ETA. And we're proud to do that. But Derek is one of the co-moderators of the program. And he brought this up the other day. And I thought, wow, I told him, I'm stealing that. Just shameless, I'm taking it. But it's the truth. And it really made me think, what are those other people in history? The scariest thing you could think of. The first thing that came to mind was Bill and Melinda Gates.
Oh, yeah, because they're very high profile. They do a lot of philanthropy. I don't know. They're just Bill and Melinda.
So Forbes estimated that Bill Gates' net worth at more than $112 billion.
Yes, he's like the second or third richest man or something like that.
But they were married for 30 years.
Yeah.
He and Melinda were married for 30 years.
That I don't know. That's just crazy to me, but I'm not them. So after 30 years, I'm just tired of you leaving your shoes right there. I gotta go.
Well, the numbers haven't been disclosed completely, but the estimation is that she walked away from the marriage with more than $6 billion in stocks alone.
I was about to say, well, but the other part of that, to me, they're kind of different. I won't say no, they're not different because, like, there are some people who, what's his name? The richest man in the world, Jeff Bezos, right?
Okay, Jeff Bezos.
So Jeff Bezos and his wife were married for 25 years.
Again, long. That's like me and you saying, I'm done.
Prior to their marriage. And they were married when they were broke. I mean, I don't want to call them broke. I shouldn't say that.
Right.
That's not fair.
Before
they became the billionaires that they are. So he's so rich that when she got broke off, whatever, she's like up there in like the richest people in the world too.
Oh, she's got like close to $40 billion in stock.
So I mean, he's still like worth 170 billion or something crazy like that or whatever. But that's just crazy how I'm going to give you all of this money, but I'm still going to be the richest man or whatever, or maybe the first or second, one of those.
And I'm sorry, but we're talking about an all-star career and pickup game marriage.
Right.
And his all-star career. Look, trust, anything we need, Amazon.
I'm on Amazon every day. I'm not even going to play with it.
Some of my favorite shows on Amazon
Prime.
Music station I was listening to earlier today, Amazon Music. By the way, you can listen to the Married and Crazy with Snooks and Lovey podcast on Amazon Music in their podcast section.
They have Prime Books. They have a Amazon where you can store your stuff, like how iCloud is.
Let me tell you,
because I have that also.
Let me tell you how crazy this is. So listening to Amazon Music, right? Contemplating ordering things on Amazon. As I'm working today in my corporate job, I have to order some equipment for the house. I'm getting some additional equipment. I went through my email to figure, okay, what's the marketplace? So we go to this particular marketplace. It's an Amazon marketplace for corporate America that we're supposed to utilize. I couldn't figure out how to use it. I got to talk to my manager about that, but it was also Amazon.
Yeah.
All these wholesalers and suppliers go through this marketplace that now massive corporations are utilizing as well. So his game, when it comes to the Amazon game, his corporate, his billions, the way he amassed it, all-star. Marriage-wise, and again, we don't know what happened behind closed doors, but marriage-wise, pickup game.
Well, I was about to say, what is that saying? Something about where it flows and goes.
Where your energy flows.
Where your focus goes, your energy flows, right?
Right.
And one of the issues, we can go through a whole list. You're talking about celebrities and even people who are not rich. We use them as an example a lot of times because there's so many people that look at these people. We look at these individuals, what they do, and we make it represent who they are. So we're so caught up in, this person is famous, so I want to emulate whatever it is that they have as far as, everything that they got. I want to emulate that, but we really don't know what's really going on, like you said, behind closed doors. So I say all that to say this. It's like their focus had to be on, I want to say it in a bad way, but making this money, doing this, doing that, whatever. If all you're thinking about is building this empire, what about the people who need to live within that empire too? You're going to lose them.
No, I hear you. And again, just if you fast forward a little bit or whatever, don't forget we're talking about very spooky stuff when it comes to our marriages.
I'm sorry, guys.
And I'm going to say this. One of the scariest things.
Are you serious?
I know. Get mad. My eye coming out. Look, one of the scariest stories we heard. We talked about not being able to see behind closed doors. What if you can see behind the closed doors in vivid detail? And it's so scary that I know people that watched the proceedings for the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard divorce proceedings. Day after day, people were posting, can't wait to get home to see what happened.
The stories
they were watching. What was scary was not just their story, but the fact that so many people were wrapped up in their story. That's scary. Back
to because it affiliation. We feel like because we see them on the big screen, we see them on the little screen on movies, whatever, and so we feel a connection to them. So with us feeling that I'm assuming. With us feeling that connection, we feel like we're part of them.
True. I will say this, that I did watch one segment. It wasn't even actually on there, but it was no,
He-
because somebody said you should watch this because it had is it Jason Momoa, the guy from Aquaman?
Mm.
So Jason
Mhm.
Momoa, for those of you that saw it, Momoa actually he was being deposed, and because Amber Heard she's an actress, she was in Aquaman, and everybody knows Johnny Depp. I mean, he's been in a gazillion movies, and it's funny because Jason Momoa was not the guy I thought he was. I mean, at least it's not the persona. I thought it was gonna be like this super professional. You have to go back and watch it. It was one of the funniest things.
What did he do?
He's crazy. He was just like talking, hey, how you doing? He was being deposed. It was a court thing. And he was like, hi, Amber, hey. And, it was nuts. It was actually in
Like
his
we have to
voice and
break.
everything. It was hilarious. That was
That's
entertaining.
funny.
But what was scary was that when you're hearing about the things that they did to each other, or at least the thing that she did, and that was caught on tape because he recorded her, that was scary, right? And it was just not just that, but when you take a look at them, they're both accomplished individuals. You could say A game. She's an actress that was in Aquaman. She's the leading actress type thing. And then you got him, of course, Mr. Leading Actor in a variety of different movies, franchises, throughout Disney and multiple movies across the board.
We got it, babe.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so what was their settlement? It was like a $7 million divorce settlement. And they are, I don't know, it was just, and then she had to turn around and pay him money at the end of this.
Yeah, I guess because I don't know why, but something about defamation of character or something like that. I have no idea.
Right. So there's that. And we're just rifling through just people, right? So you got Sylvester Stallone, right? And then the model that he married, Flavin.
I don't know, but you better not talk about Rocky.
I love the Rocky franchise. Can't wait to see Creed 3.
Hey.
That's gonna be a bomb. But they were married for 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
25 years. And then so she got like complete ownership of their $35 million home in Florida. Nuts. Right. And Sly is worth over $400 million. These things are at risk. It's not just about the money, but it's just showing you that the value that these individuals have been able to create in their lives. And there's some people and it's not just, oh, they met when they were famous. You got people that have been around since they were young. You got Dr. Dre and Nicole Young.
They were married for 25 years. I mean, he was famous, but he wasn't. I don't think he was as famous. I mean, because you figure Dr. Dre back in the day, everybody knew about Dre.
Yeah, but this is before the Beats by Dre.
Oh, I forget about those. I forgot about Beats by Dre. I'm thinking NWA.
Oh, strictly music.
Him and and Snoop and
look, Dre was
whatever.
so I won't say rich, but he basically paid her $100 million in two $50 million transactions. Whatever was going on, you better go ask Michelle A. But whatever was going on, there was stuff, right? And it's not just the outcome that's scary. Of course, whatever was going on behind closed doors, again, we mentioned that before, whatever led to this point where they felt like they had to walk away, that's the scary.
I was getting ready to say that's the part that's scary. I know we kind of talk about, well, I know I was like, I can't imagine after 30 years, then I'm just walking away. The scary part is if it's something that's so heinous and so bad where I've invested all this time in this marriage and then I'm like, screw it, I'm out. I don't even care about all of this anymore. I gotta go. That's what's scary, because that means that I'm past here, so I had it up to here. I'm past that. I gotta get out for me, for my mental health, kind of what you started out saying earlier, talking about mental health, about the Snickers bar. But we have to think about our mental health, and God forbid if there was any type of abuse that was going on,
No,
so
I hear you. And there's people forget that there's mental abuse. There's
mental abuse, there's physical abuse, there's verbal abuse, there's financial abuse, there's emotional abuse.
There's a lot that goes on that nobody ever sees, outside the media. The media doesn't capture all of that. I'll tell you something else that's scary. I'm going through these lists, and I've only seen one person come up twice on the same list.
One person come up twice on the same.
Same list of getting divorced and having be high profile.
One person? I mean, there's plenty of people.
But one person came up twice on a list, 2 separate lists that I saw. She was on there twice. Kim
I was going
Kardashian.
to say, why I got to be a she?
She came up for her marriage to Kanye West. I'm not going to call him by his crazy name.
I don't know his
And
other name.
And Chris Humphries.
He was the dancer, right?
No, he
Or
was
was
the
that
basketball player. J-Lo was married to a dancer.
the dancer? Okay.
Chris Judd.
Chris, I know it was a Chris. So
Well, they all got broke off. They all got paid. But
would you be mad if I went and married somebody for 10 days or however long? How long was she married to that dude? 75, 79 days?
72 days.
Okay. So what if I did that?
No.
And then I
Because
come
we
back
believe
with
that
the
marriage is
money.
more than a piece of paper. It's more than money.
Oh, okay.
Even though we're talking about the finances
We
and all
do
that.
talk about that. Dang it.
But then you got people you've never heard of, right? Again, we're talking about how do you build a all-star marriage? I'm sorry, all-star career, and then have a pickup game marriage. What does that even mean? What do you consider to be like an all-star career?
Well, all-star careers when you hitting every single what is that? Pinpoint, not pinpoint, but on let's look at our chart. I've hit every single
Pinnacle of all these.
yeah, every single one of those. Not just well, I shouldn't even say just hit them. I'm doing everything because I don't want my marriage to just be okay. I checked that box. I checked this box. I want my marriage to be, even though I want you to check those boxes, but I want it to be about the realness and you being in that moment and you really feeling what it is, not just so you can say, look, I did it all. No, I want to live whatever those check marks are. I want to live that. You put me on a pedestal. You cherish me. You love me. You all these things, and not just so you can write it like it's a resume or something. No, I want to feel that. I want to live that. And to me, it's all-star when your spouse can say those things about you to someone else, or send them to you, or even to themselves. Because it's not about what other people think too, is how I feel, is how you make me feel. So all-star, that for me is all-star when I'm in it.
So you're talking about all-star marriage though.
Yeah. But I'm just saying,
Okay.
so it's all-star when the other person, it's like when your teammates have to vote for the most valuable player or whatever. And they all look around and who has all these qualities, who does all this, who does blah blah blah. That's kind of how I feel about an all-star marriage.
Okay.
It's the spouses grading each other, and not grading in a bad way, but like if I'm like, okay, our marriage is all-star because this is what you do for me, this is how I feel, this is blah 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 whatever, and you're saying the same thing. Does that make sense?
No, it does. It does.
Because you was looking lost.
No. Because I was talking about, what would you consider to be like an all-star career? But it's
I thought you said marriage.
no, maybe I did.
Okay.
Oh no, the Snickers
That's
got me all jacked up.
I'll say.
I'm having like a sugar rush. I'm like a little tiny piece of a kid candy. I haven't had sugar in 2
I'm
weeks.
finna call T-Top.
And and shout out to Living Proof 365. That's our trainer, Living Proof 365. Terrence Hansard, T-Top, phenomenal trainer. But anyway, he gonna get me. He's gonna give me more. I already got to do 80 burpees. He's gonna say, "Oh, I'm gonna give you burpees." I'm like, "Bring it on, fool!"
I did mine. I complained yesterday, but I did them. So, yeah, I did them.
Okay.
I know you shame anyway. I did all 80, just so you know. I'm gonna need you to text him and let him know too.
So, but what would you consider a pickup? I think it's evident what a pickup game mentality is. I'll take whatever's on the
Yeah, I was
corner.
about to say, because okay, so when I think pickup, I always think about who got next. You just got. I'm just gonna show up.
Wow.
Who got next?
Okay, that speaks volumes, because in these marriages, everything that we just talked about, there's so many more on this list, but everybody had this mentality of who got next, right?
I kind of feel like that.
This don't work out, I'll get somebody else.
But the thing is, and we could be being very unfair because we don't know the circumstances or the situations, in which these people, they separated. But and that's not a knock on someone who happens to be famous, or they have a lot of money. They've reached a certain place within their finances and within their business and everything, and the marriage didn't work out. The thing is, if your whole focus has been on building that, and you don't really think about what's behind you, who's beside you. We said it before, you can never leave your partner behind.
Right.
So don't say, I'm doing all this for us. And girl, what you mean? I'm trying to work all these hours and I'm doing all this and I'm doing it for us. And I'm like, I don't even want that. I want you. So is it fair for me to expect you to just be like, okay, well, it's okay? Or is it fair for you to just to expect me to be like go on and do you when I'm gonna be stagnant? So you're gonna continue to move on and build this big empire. Like I said before, you have this whole kingdom, you have all this, and now you have nobody to fill it with. Because I'm out. I need you present. I will allow grace, and we both will, when I know what your dreams and everything is. That's why it's important to sit down and talk about what your dreams are as a couple. What are your goals? How are we going to, I may have a different dream than you have. So how do we get it together? How can we, make it so that the puzzle pieces are fitting?
Come on, girl. And it's funny. A lot of you out there right now be saying, okay, you guys are giving a bunch of, examples. No, y'all giving a bunch of examples of all these things that went bad. And I would just get a prenup if I was that famous. Well, let's open up another channel of the spooky marriage.
Guys, I'm so sorry.
No, okay. So look, Steven Spielberg and Amy Irving.
Okay, before you go there though, what is your perception or your understanding about what it means to have a prenup? What is your understanding of that?
My understanding is that going into a prenuptial, well, it depends on what you mean.
Like what makes it valid? What makes it, a legal type of thing, or
you write something up, saying that, if for whatever reason this doesn't work out, I'm going to walk away with what I came into this marriage with. You're going to walk away with what you came in with, and I can't go after you for XYZ. So,
and both people have to agree.
Yeah, you agree on it. You write it out and blah 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 blah.
That's my understanding, kind of like yours, is whatever. If it's in paper, if it's in writing, it's in black and white or whatever. It's supposed to be. That's what it is, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's exactly what Steven Spielberg thought. So,
goofy.
So Steven Spielberg and Amy Irving, when they first met, they were actually at a diner. And Amy Irving wrote out a prenup on a napkin. I'm going to let that sink in. So before tying the knot, the two signed a prenuptial agreement, the two of them, on a napkin. Well, later on, Irving argued, her team argued, that the document was not valid because she was never represented by an attorney. Well, it proved to be a sound argument. So their marriage only lasted 4 years. She got $25 million for every one of those years that they were married. She was awarded $100 million after the divorce.
That's crazy.
Because they together wrote out a prenup on a napkin. Later on, she said, oh, I wasn't represented by a lawyer at that time, and therefore it's not legal. That napkin, whether preserved or not, didn't stand up in court, and it cost Steven Spielberg $100 million.
So note to everyone out there who's listening, when, like I said, I was always taught that if you write something down, as long as it's in black and white and you both sign it or whatever, that is a legal type of situation. Apparently that is not the case. So just protect yourselves. That was just a little something to protect yourselves. But he did ET, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that means he already had all that ET money before they got married, because ET came out in like 82, 81, 82-ish.
I don't know.
So, I remember I was in 9th grade. So,
yeah, that was like 82, 83, something like that.
Yeah. So
But see, you're talking about, when you see these movies, Like when there's something scary, there's two things. There's the antagonist and the protagonist. The antagonist is like the evil one, right? The bad person, the guy in the black hat. The protagonist is the good guy, the person, the antidote, whatever that may be. So we've been talking about all the scary things. We've been talking about all the antagonists of marriage, right? Or what can happen on the other side. Some stuff. But let's talk about the protagonist side. What can we do to ensure that you have the best qualities for a marriage that's built to last? So how do you make sure that your marriage is an all-star marriage and not a pickup game marriage?
You contact Snooks and Lovey at Married and the Crazy.
Go to marriedandthecrazy.com. And no, I mean, that's one way. Absolutely. But what that does is we can get into a deep conversation about these 18 qualities. We're not going to go over all 18, but there's specific qualities that come to mind that need to be built upon in order for you to have that all-star marriage. You're going to build an empire in your business, and we're all for that. Make sure you're also spending equal, if not more time building your marriage.
I was about to say, and if it's one of those things where you're not building it together, find some type of way to incorporate each other into it, because we all have our own dreams and goals a lot of times. And my Lovey's dream and goal may not be what mine is, but one thing that he does, or that we do for each other, he probably does it way more than I do, is that he finds some type of way to incorporate me into it. Not saying that I have to have his dream or whatever, but with me being incorporated into it, I guess a little bit of it can be in some kind of way will become a little part of my dream. But even if it doesn't, I'm of the mindset that I'm rooting for him and I want him to succeed. So I'm like, I'm supportive. I have to support my partner, so.
And likewise, it goes both ways. And so one of the things is trust. Our marriage space is sacred and private. And we have to have a trust that other than what we share on the podcast.
See, I don't know how private it is.
Other than what we share on the podcast, it's between us. It's one of those things where our house, our home, the house isn't sacred, but our home is.
Yeah.
I'll say that again. Our house isn't sacred, but our home is.
Yeah, and we protect that. That's very important. We protect our home. We don't let just anybody come into our home. Not like we think we're all that, but I'm very keyed into energy. And if the energy is off, I'm like, and then if I'm not comfortable, ain't nobody finna be comfortable up in this house.
Right. There's definitely a moat around this castle.
and as it should be, though, I feel like, you guys have to protect each other. And sometimes I have to protect him from him sometimes. And he has to protect me from me,
A lot.
Not a lot.
No, I'm just playing. No, but there's something that's like, there's another marriage that we didn't really get to. But when you look at Arnold Schwarzenegger and Maria Shriver, she's a Kennedy heiress. But what he didn't do is practice restraint. And restraint, because he had the child with their housekeeper. And restraint is one of those things that we need to be able to have, one of those qualities. Unlike I was not able to restrain from eating that Snickers bar, but we need to be able to resist temptation and remain true to each other. That's a big part of what we need to do. That's one of those 18 qualities.
And another one, we talk about it all the time. You have got to have effective communication. People communicate in all kind of ways. I could flip you off. That's communication. I can cuss you out. That's communication. It's not effective, though. It's effective if I'm trying to get a rise out of you.
Get my message across.
Is it great communication? Is it where something that's going to make him or her want to continue to continue the conversation on? You don't want to just say something and then that's just it. It should be something, I feel like it should be something to where the other partner, your spouse, is wanting to add on to that, and some stuff is just deadpan. It is what it is, but more times than not, we want to make sure that we're able to continue on the conversation, the communication.
No, you're absolutely right. You know, and it's funny that you say that because we're going to be teaching. We just developed another presentation that we're going to be teaching at the M4 conference. That's going to be coming up later this month. And the M4 conference actually stands for, and it's a phenomenal podcast they do as well. Shout out to Devon and Sinclair.
Declare.
Right. But M4 actually stands for making melanated married millionaires. And it's the M4 podcast. And we're going to be talking on that particular day, the first day of the conference, and going over DISC assessments and helping people have a better understanding of each other so they can have better communication. Our specific topic is going to be about having better communication and comprehension in your marriage.
Yeah.
How you comprehend that? Would you say the middle finger? You can communicate it, but how, I don't know that I comprehend exactly why I got that or how or where that came from. But those are the things. But we also, and that's a whole other side note, but we also have to have the ability to make each other a priority.
That's important. We really have to. I'm be honest with you. If I don't feel important, then I promise you, deuces, I'm out. Not out like I'm finna take all my stuff and I'm getting ready to take all my stuff and leave, but I'm out, meaning it starts here in my mind. I'm out. So if my mind shuts off to whatever it is you got going on, we're doing this. We're drifting apart.
And there's nothing wrong with being different. We're not talking about being different, because having a difference is huge, because you have to respect each other's differences. And you kind of touched upon this before, but it lends itself to trying to understand something a little different that's different from me. And there's an attraction that's there. They say opposites attract. Well, differences attract as well.
And have humor. Lovey and I laugh all the time, not about everything, but we have a good time together. I don't think anyone wants to just be with someone who's just rigid and they can't laugh at themselves, laugh with their partner or whatever, but you have to have some humor.
When's the last time you actually had like that deep belly laugh with your spouse? And not because you're at the movie theater and the movie was funny.
Just the two of you.
Or just the two of you having a conversation, and one of you says something that had both of you just, snorting, laughing, snorting, snotting. That's good stuff.
Snotting.
Snotting. You know what I'm talking about, when it's so funny that it makes you snort or whatever, you snot up a little bit. You're like, oh my God, what just came out my nose?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's hilarious.
Sorry, y'all.
But, and that lends itself to the truthfulness of your relationship. Not just telling the truth. I'm talking about truthfulness, about being honest, open, and real with each other.
Yeah. And the last thing I want to say is forgiveness. You have to be able to forgive each other, and you have to also be able to forgive yourselves. You can't move forward if you're holding on to stuff from behind you. And a lot of times the reason we hold on to things from behind us or in the past is because we haven't exercised that forgiveness. Amen. Forgiveness goes a very long way.
Goes a long way. So look, folks, we want to see you in the Hall of Fame, right? To have this AllStar Hall of Fame marriage, and not to be known as that person that had a pickup game marriage.
That's right.
Pickup games are forgotten about, and the story changes often. Like, oh, do you remember you saw him do that dunk? No, that wasn't him. That was somebody else. Right. The story actually changes. But if you're in the Hall of Fame, that means the only way you get to Hall of Fame is that there's documented, chronicled successes. And you're able to go back and be able to account for it, which is why people are saying there's metrics, right? And some of these things that we just discussed, those qualities are the metrics by which you're going to be inducted into the Marriage Hall of Fame.
And you get those qualities by practicing. You have to continue. Playoffs. But I'm saying you get those by practicing the behaviors, the things that are going to benefit your marriage and or your spouse, So you're not going to just wake up one day and just have it all. You have to continually do them day in and day out, even when they don't feel like it's working. Day in and day out, we continue until we perfect it.
And you get better. And don't measure yourself by the ruler of what you see in somebody else's relationship. Measure yourself only against you. Am I better today than I was yesterday? Am I better than I was last week? on those points that we talked about: trust, restraint, making each other a priority, celebrating each other's differences, having strong communication, um, being able to practice forgiveness.
Yeah. Also, I'm sorry, but we also have to be crazy too. We have to remember that we need to show compassion. We need to be real. We should have accountability, keep the zealousness, and also stay yielding.
Stay yielding and be grateful for the entire process. Gratitude is one of those things that should be unspoken, but I'm just going to put it out there. Gratitude will determine your altitude.
Mm-hmm.
It
That's
always
right.
will, in every aspect of your life, especially in your marriage. So we hope those things are together. We look forward to seeing you in the Marriage Hall of Fame. Make sure you have that all-star game when it comes to your marriage. And let's ensure that by practicing these things that we're not going to be accused of having a pickup game mentality when it comes to
Our
covenant and our
marriages.
marriage.
Exactly.
So until the next time,
Be blessed.
be blessed. And I hope you enjoyed this Halloween special.
Oh, no. I'm sorry, guys.
She's going to be mad at me. Bye.
Bye-bye.